Hey guys, season 2 of floodable duck hunting impoundments. Starting this year off with a new piece of equipment. This is a 48-inch king cutter disc I picked up so I can pull it with the ATV. Get into the muddy food plots because it's just too muddy for a tractor unless it's super dry. Pretty pumped. I got this thing used from a guy who didn't use it all that much. These things go for about $1,000. Got it for $750, and the guy I bought it from built these rock boxes to add weight. So I'll be putting that baby to good use. Let's head out to the food plot and take a look. Alright guys, so we're out at the food plot at my home base here. This is kind of my miniature version. I'm basically standing where I shot my very first YouTube video, right on the berm separating the pond, as you can see, from the impoundment. So for those of you who followed the series last year, you can see all the green shade. That's all the millet that reseeded itself. It's all starting to pop up. We've had an incredibly wet spring, like everybody else in the Midwest, and this thing is just finally starting to drain out. I've been running that disc up and down the outer, been running up and down the berm and down my shoreline here, but I'm hoping within the next week or so I'll be able to get out here, do the whole thing. So let me switch positions. So I wanted to mention one thing I can't remember if I talked about last year, but sometimes luck is a nice thing. And behind my property is a hayfield, which the owner's pretty cool. He actually lets me goose hunt out there. It's pretty good. But anyway, that hayfield is tile drained, and everything drains, of course, into this lowland where I have my pond. I'm not sure precisely where the tile drain ends, but more importantly, it's broken here. It was always bubbling up, and when I was doing some work out here, I dug a hole with the excavator and found the pipe, and this just works out perfect. When we get lots of rain, it floods out naturally and flows into my impoundment, and you can see I did my grading pretty well, so it goes right down to the control structure. Long story short, when it was dry in August last year, leading up to hunting season, I spent a lot of time out here pumping water out of the pond into the impoundment. Basically what I've learned was if we get one good rainfall of 1 to 2 inches of heavy rain, that's basically all it takes to flood this thing. I can do it completely just with rainwater. So sometimes luck is nice to have on your side, and that's what I have here with this tile drain coming in. Let me just mention a couple things, plans for this year. I mentioned I've been doing some disking. You might be asking, well, why are you disking if your millet's coming back up? Well, I discovered a great resource online to a company that's really into this moist soil management and food plots for ducks. It's called River Refuge Seed Company. Look them up online. They actually have a really good video they just put out on building floodable impoundments, and they have a seed mix that I want to try. So this is my miniature version out here. I'm only flooding about 1/4 acre probably, so I'm just going to experiment with some different seed mixes this year and see what happens. The other things I have in store for this year, if you watched last year, there's my water control structure down there. And at the end of the year, I held water in this thing for, I can't remember for sure, 6 to 8 weeks, but all of a sudden I came out one day and my pipe had washed out. So I need to dig up my culvert pipe, which is going through the berm, and put some anti-seep collars. I'm going to put a couple bags of concrete around that. That was a lesson from last year I learned. Even though this is all heavy soil and clay, it still washed out to my surprise. I might try to build up this side of the berm. You might be able to even see this on camera, but it's a little bit low there. And if I can get about 6 inches of material on that, that would help me be able to get a little bit more surface water in this thing, because right now the water will spill out down here before it reaches the very top of the water control structure. So that's a couple things that are in store for this season. I can't spend too much time on this because I got a much bigger project going on up north that probably should take a lot more priority, but this is right in my backyard, so it's on my mind. Anyway, hope all is well. We'll be in touch.